What is going on, fellas, and welcome back to Hungary for Success with me, FoggyPlays, on FM21. Today we're going to be taking on Ferencváros in the Hungarian top division, and we're going to have a look at the almighty amount of games we've played since we were here last, and just a cheeky little youth intake. Ooh, it should be probably terrible, but we're going to have a look at it anyway. If you do want to enjoy this episode, do make sure to like and subscribe. Now let's get into the video. Right, fellas, so we're going to start with transfers first. Since we were here last, nobody came in the remainder of the transfer window because we didn't really need to bring anyone in. Whereas we have loaned out a couple of players. You'd recognise Giorgio Molnar's name. He's a central midfielder who's also been playing at right back and left back. Okay, he's played 7 times since he went out on loan. Scored twice, so he might actually be as good as I hope he is. Adam Nemeth has left as well, but other than that, there's nobody that's left since we're here that's really of note. But games wise, we have been quite busy. We did lose to Honvéd, which was a rather disappointing game. Then we absolutely stumbled to a victory over bottom of the league Szeged, which really was much closer than it needed to be. Frin Janssen did score a hat-trick, was fantastic. I was quite happy. They did have a player sent off in the 89th minute, and that is the only reason, I firmly believe that is the only reason they did not score an equaliser. Then against Kisvárda, we played them in the league, smashed them 4-0. Carlsberg got himself a goal, Ortiz scored 2 worldies of goals, and Frid Janssen scored yet again. Then against Fervar, Puskás got himself a goal. It's a scrappy affair, really. They scored 10 minutes later. We scored again. Very few highlights in the game. Then in the the Hungarian Cup 4th round, first leg, 5-1. Definitely did not expect this. Frid Janssen, as you can see, missed a penalty. Also scored a hat-trick. Got a 9. It was spectacular. But Carlsberg also scored again. The man, the myth, the Faroese legend is playing so very well out in the wing. He's keeping Theo Walcott and I would say legend Schedler out of the team at the minute. He's been very, very good. Then against Puskás, we were shocking. Frid Janssen went off fairly early on. I think it was within the first 20 minutes, if I remember. Versace scored a brace, but it just wasn't enough. Puskás were just a lot better than us. We had a fairly rotated side. Yeah, fairly rotated. Because we had just played Kisvárda 3 days previous, so we were a little bit on the tired side. But those fit players came back, and we beat Kisvárda 7-5. So it was 12-6 on aggregate. As you can see, scored in the 3rd, 7th, 8th, and 11th minute. I thought it was easy. Smashed this team, no bother. Theo Walcott managed 4 goals in the game. Carlsberg got a brace. Mandira, player I don't think you've actually seen. We signed him at the same time as Anka. I think it was Anka. Yeah, I think it was like the same within the same couple of days. This guy's just been down under 19s. As you can see, current ability 2.5 star. He's been getting a little bit of opportunities recently. Has struggled in the league, scored in the cup. That was quite happy for everybody. But you can see we stopped scoring really after like 60 minutes. Around the same time they started scoring. It was mental. At halftime it was 4-1. And then heading to 7-5. It was a mad game. And then against MTK, again, we were very, very good. The own goal should have been Gabriel's. I'm not sure what happened. I've watched the highlight back a couple of times. Gabriel very clearly gets a touch on it before it goes into the back of the net. It was given as their goalkeeper's own goal. I'm not going to complain. We won. Then against Újpest, 7-3. 7-3. And we missed a penalty. I played Garate because Frid Janssen was injured, and I kind of wanted to play with the target man still. Garate, his one and only chance. He was really quiet for the game. Stepped up to take the penalty. Couldn't put it away. Zan Medved was the Slovenian we were looking to sign. I thought he went to Fervar. Actually went to Újpest. This guy, he's only 6'1", but he's a target man. Pretty good all round. I'm kind of glad we took Frid Janssen instead. He seems to be scoring a lot more goals. But yeah, 7-3. As you can see, for the month of February, lots of goals were scored. For and against us, but importantly, we scored more than the opposition did. And then in the Hungarian Cup, why do I keep forgetting to say cup? Hungarian Cup quarter-final first leg, we beat Kaposvár 2-0. Much tighter game than I would have expected. They're a third division side. Kind of struggled against them a little bit, but the Hungarian Cup at the minute does have some interesting teams in it, like Pech continuing their good form from last season. Um, Men Foxanak beating Szeged, beating Szeged 1-0. So like it's interesting. And then obviously we played Kaposvár, beat them 2-0. But we're taking on Ferencváros in today's episode, or in this game today, and we have our youth intake. Oh, wrong one. Youth intake in the not too distant future. Some stage in March, generally kind of the middle to the end of March. So I'm hoping that it'll be around the Fasas game. So I'll bring you back to show you what we get in, or who comes in that. Should probably mostly be Hungarians. I don't think we've the reach to get anyone outside of Hungary yet. Might get a couple of Irish lads because of me. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So this is the starting 11 for today's game. We've Hut Wagner in goal. Vindiansky as our right back, because I think Perlevsky is a little tired. Ongard is starting on the left. Derek and Pushkash starting as our centre backs. Tiefenbach and Ortiz in central midfield. Versace and Carlsberg as our wide men. Fred Janssen and Gabriel starting up front. Gabriel's been in good form. He's not been scoring many. But then again, Monazimi, not scoring many either. Kind of wishing we had that money for Gabriel. Because I would have preferred money over not money. Ankara, that's who it was. He came in at the same time as Mandira. He's had a lot more opportunities in the centre of the park. So we do have plenty of strikers, which is something we have to look at for next season. Because we have a few too many strikers right now. But we're just going to power on and see what we can do against a team that is quite good and struggling just ever so slightly this year. Meshkoved have a little bit of an advantage at the top of the league. I didn't actually show the league table, which is quite silly on my part, but we are going to pump our fists. Actually, we're going to thrash arms and say let's go out and avenge for what happened last time. Give me a solid display in the centre of the park. Go and grab us some goals. Players are somewhat happy with that. The Ferencváros side looking pretty strong, but we are stronger. If we were playing in Chile, we'd be the strongest. But as you can see, Meshkoved have a 4-point gap over Ferencváros at the moment. If it stays as it is, that would stay like that, but it would be down to a point if Ferencváros beat us today, which I'm hoping they don't. Versace is going for the first opportunity of the game. Gets it across. Carlsberg somehow puts that wide. He's been in lightning form recently, as you will have probably seen. He's been quite good in some of the episodes since we brought him in. For Johnson, I couldn't keep the ball down. He's been massive difference to the club. He's kind of given Versace the opportunity to run around a little bit more. I just saw the stats. We're half an hour in and neither team have had a shot on target yet. I say it, and Gabriel's gone and scored a goal. It's there. Gabriel, 10th of the season. He did go quite a time without scoring. It was 11 games or something. And then he scored a brace in one of the games, which was quite nice. When he's been like our best striker, or second best striker, I suppose, consistently for the last 2 years. Derek's just put that one over. He's been first he's been in the starting 11 pretty much every game. Like, we did swap to a 4-2-3-1 for a little bit, and he played as an attacking midfielder. He was actually really quite good. Don't tell him I said that, but he's actually really rather good. One shot on target between the two teams from 12 shots. It's been a very edgy affair at the start so far. Fred Johnson's just been a little bit unlucky in today's game. Pushkash isn't having the best of games. We've not seen much from either team though. It has been fairly quiet on the highlight front. Their new right back, actually, Vanderson, was a player that was linked with us I was kind of like, do we want Vanderson? But I think our left back situation at the moment, like on guard, is very, very good. So I'm not really looking for someone to come over the top of him because he's only 19. He's still a young defender. I don't want to stunt his growth by putting someone in. Gabriel's true. Gabriel's scored his second goal. He's carrying a bit of a knock. It's not actually that poorly. Do I take him off just before he can score a hat trick? I might do, just to make sure that he doesn't pick up more of an injury. But Frid Johnson doesn't get on the end. It actually was Babic that headed it wide. Gabriel doesn't. It's bruised knee. It's not that bad. Kasberg is quite tired though. And we are coming somewhat close to the end of the game. So I'm going to take Kasberg off because he's tired. Bring on Theo Walcott, who can play quite well in that position. I'm going to take off Gabriel as well from Monazimi. I know he's on a hat trick. I'll probably get asked questions about it in the post game, but I'm just not going to risk him. We're going to bring Leitner on as well in central midfield. He's been a little underwhelming. A lot of the press seem to think that he's been amazing since he arrived. Not 100% sure I agree with that. He's been good. We're not paying him a huge amount of money either, so that's quite nice. We're not spending a small fortune on the man, but he's definitely helped dressing room atmosphere since he arrived. It's increased ever so slightly. Thankfully, that's offside. I think Hudwagner pushed that onto the post. We're going to get the exact same highlight again. No, it looked like it actually just hit the crossbar and came back. But we have beaten Ferencváros 2-0. Get in. That'll definitely close up the old league table. They ended up having a better second half than we did. We still won the game. And that is all that matters. Fantastic, lads. Well done. Let's have a look at the league table, see how that affects things. Because I think we were 5th in the league before the game. Should have shown it, yeah. Fantastic run. If we continue performing, keep this going forever. Fear complacency becoming an issue? No. No, I do not. So this has us, yeah, we're still sitting 5th, but 1 point behind Fervar, who have a game in hand. We're only 4 points behind MTK. Things getting a little bit close. Shagid have had so many results like this year where they've just missed out by like the odd goal, where they've scored like 2 or 3 and then just not been able to close the game out. But Uish Pest have done us a favour and beaten MTK. Get in, my son. That is delightful. Gabriel does get man of the match. I'm surprised we haven't gotten 3 days, not that bad. Gabriel impresses. I guarantee if we get an interview pop up in the next day or so, it's going to be, why did you take Gabriel off when he was on the verge of a hat trick? Because he was injured. They reckon he's a midfielder now. Yeah, I think because I played him as an attack midfielder, I think that's just they've decided now he's a midfielder. Even though he has likes to lob keeper as one of his PPMs. He's not had a terrible season actually. It kind of was a bit disingenuous and said that he was having a poor season, but we're going to leave that there. We'll be back in just a second when we have the email about the youth intake. Hopefully we get some good players, because not expecting an awful lot, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, fellas, so it's time for our youth intake, and unfortunately we didn't get any news articles beforehand, so we've just been kind of thrust in to the youth intake. But we have as they did say, not a great youth intake. We do have a Spanish and a German young fella, or Spanish and German young fellows that have come in. They're saying this guy is really good. There's a 3-star potential. Decent dribbling, decent off the ball, decent determination, balance and pace is okay. 7 finishing for a striker. Not 100% sure about him, but we do have this Spanish left midfielder who is a defensive winger. Why do they think this guy? He's unambitious. He's not very good, but they give him the highest potential ability. He's got 18 natural fitness, 13 leadership, 15 work rate. I'm not sure why they think this guy is going to be really good. Robert Simon. Again, another striker, 14 finishing, 13 paces. I'd probably sign him regardless because he's got decent finishing and he looks angry. I feel like if I didn't sign him, he'd probably kill me. We have Miklos Pakete. Oh, this is the goalkeeper we were told about. Um, Tendency to rush out, 16. Okay. Good sweeper keeper attribute to have there. Um, I think he probably would have higher potential ability than the rest of them. What's this German fella? 19 bravery, 16 determination, 16 natural fitness, 1 tackling. Okay, I was going to say maybe a defense or a ball winning midfielder. No, can't tackle to save his life. Well, it can. He's not got any strength whatsoever, and can't jump for shit. 5'5". Hmm, fantastic. That's exactly what you want to see. Um, the German is also part Polish, but I'm gonna have a look at some of these lads. You could just, I guarantee you're guaranteed to see these 3 guys in our youth team. Potentially some of these other fellas. Other than that, I'll have a look and see. I do occasionally sign players below like a 3 star if they've got decent attributes to begin with. But I'm not 100% sure. They're playing against their under 19s, which if we just have a quick look at their fixtures, um, they've scored lots of goals. 13 in a recent game, 9 in a game even more recently. So I saw an 11, yeah, 11-1 here against reserves. Our under 19s score many goals. All friendlies though. I'd like if they could get into some sort of like proper competition, like an under 19 league or something. But this is but to be fair, Mamoli, Salvador Vas or Zillard Vas, Martin Dira, Giersik, Karate. Okay, fair enough. We give a lot of first team players an opportunity in the under 19s, but I feel like some of those players aren't as bad. I'm still not sure what this guy offers. I'm going to maybe send him back to be a left back, because a defensive winger, not so good. But then again, I'll see what I'll definitely sign him. I don't know what we're going to do with him though. But I'm surprised we did get a Spanish and German. I was kind of expecting all Hungarians or like maybe an Irish fella sprinkled in. But yeah, that's interesting. Didn't expect those nationalities. We drew Pech in the Hungarian semi-final because we did win overall in the cup final, thanks to an 83rd minute goal by Tiefenbach, which was an absolute horrendous goal. The goalkeeper should be absolutely ashamed of himself for conceding it, but we were not very good at all. We lost 3-1, but thankfully that goal was enough to see us through on away goals. Then we lost to Vasas, who are having quite a resurgence of late, and Disciori, we squeaked past them. Actually, I'm going to show you the final goal that we scored because it was interesting, to say the absolute least about it. We did have, like, you look at the ratings, you're like, oh, we didn't play it that badly. We were really quite poor towards the end, but like, what kind of goalkeeping is that? It went down as an own goal because it hit. It went down as goalkeeper own goal because the defender kicked it off the goalkeeper after Fred Janssen got a strike on it. So in the next episode, I think we'll come back for Ferver and Pitch second leg to see if we can get through in the semi-final, because as it is, probably going to be playing MTK in the final if we make it there. That wouldn't be terrible. We have had luck go slightly in our way. Ferver lost to Ujpest, and I think MTK beat them as well. So they've kind of been doing us a favour recently, but they have been climbing up the table because, oh no, it was Ferencvaros. No, they beat MTK here as well. Who was it that beat Ferver? I know they lost a game recently. No, I'm absolutely blowing smoke out my arse. MTK? Did you lose 2 games recently? No. Okay, so results are completely different to what I remember, but as it is, sitting fifth, only 4 points behind MTK, and we need to beat MTK. I really, really don't want to finish behind MTK, because we finished above them last season, and I want to continue doing that. Being the second/third best team in the league, I can live with that. Season preview, we are now expected to actually fifth now. Derek is still one of the best players in the league, which is fair enough. Hood Wagner, he's moving up there, moving up in the world, but he's not made his Hungarian international debut. He's been called up to a bunch of the squads, but never actually gotten off the bench. It's a little disappointing. Next time he concedes a goal, 100th time he's conceded in the league for us. That's how you know he's a good goalkeeper. 2 seasons, conceded 100 goals. I still think he's one of the best goalkeepers in the country. But yeah, further and pecs in the next episode. If you've enjoyed this one, do make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below. Anything you want. Just goals. Many goals. Leave a comment down below. Do you think any of these youth candidates will ever be good enough to play for the first team? Probably not, but let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!